Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today I'd like to create a card for a dear friend. He's into food stuff, he's a proper foodie, and I came across this little, these are pages from a little recipe book. I've taken the recipe book apart, and I just took some of the pictures out that I thought I liked, and these were all in black and white. But I knew I didn't want to have a black and white card. Obviously, I could have colored these pictures in, but sometimes I want a quick card. I don't want too much faffing around. So at first I thought I could do some ink smooshing on these. Ink smooshing. The problem with this smooshing is it can get quite wet, and this is very thin paper, and I wasn't quite sure how well that would hold up. I had a trial run, I wasn't too happy with it, so I decided to stencil on these. And I went for this stencil here that's got all the different circle cutouts, and I just did a very random stenciling on these. I've done this off camera already because I thought there's no point in showing you really how I did this. All I did was use different circles. Make sure you don't go too close to the edges and accidentally have bits where you smear a little bit. Oh, like I have here, for example. I don't know if you can see that. I didn't even see that until I pointed it out. And I also made sure some of these are overlapping. Reason being, I wanted to create a bokeh effect. And I will be coming in with my white ink now. So I just want to show you the jam page I've just done in red, the marmalade page I've just done in orange, and again I've gone in there over the edge. What you can do, if you want to be sure you don't go into the other areas, just put a little post-it notes on top, but I try to be quick. The bread I've done in yellow. I thought about doing it in brown or beigey colour, but I didn't know how that would pick up, and I thought yellow would be quite nice. And then I've done the coffee in brown, and I already know that I want to have the tea on the outside. I might do this off camera in blue. I haven't quite decided yet, but I just wanted to show you the second step. So if I just take the red one, for example, I'm coming in with my Versamagic Cloud White, and I'm doing basically the same thing as I've done before, but I just want to do it with the white ink. So I want to overlap a little bit, maybe I even go in this area now. I'll find a circle that is not too big, but this will overlap the three and cover that bit where I went overboard. So it won't cover the bit, but it will just mute this a little bit. I'll show you that in a second. Make sure when you go back into the ink pad and onto the other pages you don't have any residue on there. So can you see that? So it definitely shows as white, and it mutes the black in the background, so we've got this sort of bokeh effect. It's not great, but I think because the paper is a bit shiny, when the recipient opens the card he can see it against the light. So as I said, I will just do this off camera. I'm going in with some of the smaller circles deliberately as well and overlap them a little bit, maybe even go into a whole circle. This is the sort of bokeh effect I want. And then I'll show you, time allowing for me tonight or tomorrow, I have to do it tomorrow, how I put this card together. As I said, I wanted to keep it simple. I thought about a showstopper card and then in the end decided against it. So I just want to make a very simple concertina card. For the card base, I have chosen some grey cardstock. I think this is just from my local craft store. These are A4 sheets, so that's very handy because we need 4 panels that are 5 inches high, and 3 of these need to be 7¼ inch because we're creating flaps, and 1 panel needs to be 5 by 7 inches. So I'm going to cut these now, and then I'm going to score these 3 panels on the side here at 1/4 inch. So the actual panels are 7 inches like this one, but I've got 1/4 inch of a flap, and I'll show you then how to glue these together. So I have cut my panels and I've scored 3 of them. These, by the way, my cut-offs, I always keep. These are very good for sentiment strips, so don't throw anything like that away. So before I fold these scored flaps here, I need to just cut a little wedge of really tiny on either end, because when we glue them together it just gives a nicer finish. So I like to do that before I fold them. So you can leave a wider flap if you want to, if you like to work with a half, but I find a quarter is quite sufficient. Oh, just wonder why there was a wobble thing. It was one of these pieces underneath. So. It's a very simple card. I just made it up in my head. I don't know if anyone else has made it before. I've seen concertina cards, obviously, on YouTube, but as I said, I wanted a very simple card. So all we need to do now is to glue these flaps behind the next card. Let me just turn it over. So this is the back. I think the card even looks like it's got a slightly different finish. So glue this one on here, and then this flap goes onto the next piece, and then the final flap goes onto the piece that hasn't got a flap. Apologies for that, something just fell on the floor. That's all we need to do. I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to use my Cosmic Shimmer Quick Grab Glue. I find that the best if I want to do anything like this, because as it says, it grabs quickly, and then that helps me to assemble the card very quickly. I just thought to myself, maybe I should show you how to glue these together, because you don't really want to get too close to the edge or even go over it. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my card, I've already put glue here on the flap, I'm basically sitting it in the score line, and then fold this over, making sure it's properly aligned. The bottom of the top, you can even put it down. So, and just rest it down like that and press it down, because this way I know it will fold flat. Yeah, so can here, this is getting a bit long now for my table. So just putting it down here, the glue, glue down here. Don't need too much really, because you don't want it to ooze out. If you think it might ooze out, just use your finger, spread it out a little bit. And then this card, just checking if there's a back or front. That's the last one without the flap. Again, I'm actually just laying it flat on here, aligning it, and then pressing this over. Oozes out a little bit, but it's in the back anyway. If you wanted to, you could cover the back, but I'm not too bothered about that. So I'm just leaving that to dry for a moment, and then I just show you how to fold this, which again is very, very easy. So it's so easy to fold this. These are already valley folds here, and all I need to do is here on this one, I need to turn that into a mountain fold. So I'm just folding it the other way. I'm just burnishing it, pressing it down, and then I've got a card that folds like this, and the recipient can open it like this. That's all I want. You fold it the other way if you wanted to, but this is the idea that I had. So that's all there is to it. As I said, I wanted a really simple card. So it's already a bit late, and my panels are still drying a bit. The white ink needs quite a lot of time to dry here. So I'm going to call this a night, and I'm going to continue this in the morning. Obviously for you it doesn't make a difference. The light will just be a bit different in the morning. So yeah, and I'll show you then how I glue the panels down, my pictures, and how I design the front of the card. So it's about 20 hours later. This was one of those cards that is actually really quick to make, but I took a long break in between. First of all, mainly because it's my birthday today, so I had other things to do, messages to take and answer, a few presents to unpack, and obviously enjoy the day so far. So I just finished this card off camera because it was so simple that I just want to talk you through what I have done, but I will also give you a few ideas on how you can elaborate on that. I told you I wanted a very simple card, so for the front I've just stuck the picture on, and I have just die cut this happy birthday die twice, once in a blue that I wanted to match this colour a little bit. It's not perfect, but it'll be fine. And because I've got the shadow die here on the printing in the background, I decided to go for a shadow die here as well. So basically cut this again in grey and just stick this on, and I think that's quite nice here. And on the inside I just all tidied these up, and I just glued them down with my glue stick from the works. It's the first time me using that, but I thought this would be the best because the paper was very thin and I didn't want to have any residue of any liquid glue on the background. And yeah, I think this is really nice. So the recipient can set up like this, have it on display maybe, and basically read it a bit like a picture book. I think that's quite nice. One thing I had contemplated is putting frames on these. So if I didn't have the writing at the top and the bottom of these pictures, I would have cut just a frame out, put that on the top, even maybe leaving this edge behind and have a smaller frame to basically give a focus to the pictures, but I didn't want to lose any of the writing. I also contemplated putting more sentiments on these pages here, but I think there is enough to see, enough writing on there already. But this is just to give you an idea what you can do. So if you've got any pictures, maybe you are into scrapbooking, you can easily use this sort of card to do something individual on each of these pages. Even with a bit of dimension, the card would hold that, because this one's actually quite flat. And the one idea to finish this card that I thought about is putting a ribbon underneath either a panel, under this panel here, or maybe just have a dot cut out of cardstock, glue the ribbon under that, glue a ribbon on the back, and then I could tie this shut. But as this is a mail card, I think the simplest is the best. I find that ribbon can always be a bit, I don't want to say female, but a bit more, you know, not as clean, as simple as I wanted it for this mail card. So yeah, fairly simple, but I think it's a nice idea what you can just do with simple pictures. If you don't want colouring, you can just go over it with a stencil. As I said, I went for this bokeh effect, and I think that's really nice. So have a look at what you've got in your stash. You might even have pictures from a calendar, you know, like an animal calendar would be nice. You can obviously do this in different sizes, and it's really easy by just creating flaps here on the back that the recipient won't even notice. And there you've got a concertina card. I think quite a nice idea, and I'm sure I will make some more of these, but then a bit more elaborate, and yeah, I'll see what I come up with. If you like this card, you might want to give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, I usually post paper craft related videos on a Wednesday and a Sunday, and sometimes on a Friday now, some other crafts. Yeah, if you'd like to see those videos, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. I'll see you soon with another video.